Hello, hello. Test, test, test.
Oh, it's so bright. I like it. Hello, hello.
Hello. There we go.
Yeah, the baking looks very different.
Yeah. So I don't know if I told you, but you always wait about 5 minutes before uh people come by.
Okay, no worries. I did
Um,
click on the link and shared, but I don't see
okay.
it up here. Is that
Uh, let's. I'm gonna rejoin real quick.
okay?
Um, yeah, it's not working right now.
Maybe it
Try.
could it timed out or something. Should I just refresh?
Yeah, try refreshing and resharing, and that should help it out a little bit.
I just did.
Okay, I will refresh real quick. There we go. I got it.
Okay, I just need to rejoin.
Yep, just rejoin and you should be able to see it too. And everyone who joins after this will see it.
Oh, perfect. Hey, that worked. Cool. Yay.
Hey.
So I get stuck
Oh,
here.
I,
Is that
yeah, you do.
and then I get unstuck. Okay.
So if you use your right controller and you press B, and you can see like how you have like a teleport.
Mm-hmm.
You can get like right up close to it and then teleport right out.
Mm.
And then it's the same for going in. It's not a perfect system.
Okay.
And trying to talk to Banter about it because
Yeah.
it's it's one of those things where I'm like, I want security, but
Yeah. I
like
gotcha.
somebody else figured out how to.
This is nice.
Here you
I like this.
go in now.
Nice. Let's see what that- Ooh, is this your green room?
Kind of. I used to have the controls up here, but I moved them. But if you come down here, I gotta let you down
Whoa. Whoa.
there.
You're gonna put
So
me under the world?
yeah, so
Is
this
that
is
you?
my it is, but this is my
Oh my
PC
god.
camera.
Picture with you. Oh darn. That was so
Oh,
cool.
there we go.
Gotta get it. We get a group photo of you and your doppelganger under the world. It's so good. Toggle the
That's
selfie
how
camera.
I'm streaming because the
Pre-event meetup. That's great. Yeah. Yeah.
camera's up there, and then everyone can hear because I'm down here. And so like everyone needs to stay within this like area to be heard or be megaphoned.
Did
So
you ever see that movie with the magician who had to kill himself for every event, but he had cloned himself? So he had
mm,
all these drowned boxes of himself underneath the stage. You're basically doing
it's
that in VR.
exactly.
Same thing. It's more or less, right?
You
So
wanna
how do we get back
well,
up?
you got to go through the portal. I lied. Actually, so you're in VR, right? Okay, so this will be kind of fun. Just go ahead and go down there, and then put your hands up, and then lift yourself out.
Hey, Flutter, how you doing?
Hey, how are you? I'm
Hello.
good.
And then jump,
Hanging in there.
Yeah.
and now
Oh.
pull up.
I'm not. I only see
Oh.
you in the room.
I'm growing
I
out of
hear
the
them. Oh,
ground.
they were under the
Yeah.
floor.
That's
I know.
awesome. That is the best
Just
magic
can't believe.
trick appearance to the event ever. We
Yeah, I
crawl
know.
out of the
You're-
ground.
You came out of the ground. I know. It was just.
Oh
Now I'm
man.
sliding around
there like a portal
uncontrollably,
under
but I
there?
love it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you are.
There's a secret
Let's
magic
see,
trick. This is hilarious.
Is there like a conveyor belt right here?
Flutter, come,
Sliding.
I'll show you.
Okay.
Oh.
Come on.
Now what do I
up.
do? Okay.
Up here, up onto the stage,
Uh-huh.
and now follow me behind the stage.
Two.
Oh,
And then-
backstage. Oh,
and
that's
then go
cool.
in this door.
Okay. Wait, did I?
Hello.
Blue.
I broke it. Okay, and now go
Oh.
in this door.
How's it going?
This is awesome. Okay.
You ready to learn about nonverbal
Oh, that's
communication?
hilarious. And then out this one.
Hey.
Nope.
Wait, your
Uh,
voice sounds familiar.
Now,
Wait.
now lift your
It goes
hands.
there.
Is that Dr. Ruth Diaz? This is
And now
Dr.
jump.
Cannon.
I knew it. I was like, that's
And
really
lift.
Funny.
voice.
And lift.
Oh,
Seymour
goodness.
Dot model.
Wait, I don't think I did it right.
Actually,
Oh,
Put your
there.
arms
I
in
see
there.
it.
For the
Oh,
summer
that's
campaign.
hilarious.
Zombies. They're coming out of
That's
the ground.
great. That's a great zombie
Scary.
technique.
It's the nonverbal communication.
Oh my God, that's really
haunted
fun.
aversion.
There
I
we go.
like
I'm gonna make
that.
sure-
Like a Halloween special to me.
I know.
I like
exactly. Rawr, what am I telling you?
I like the arm
Okay.
thing too
We're
to
the
get up. That was
zombies.
a good
Yeah.
action because you have to go.
What's been new
Uh,
with you?
Yeah, because once
just
you go through the plane
surviving
in one direction,
And also
Yeah.
doing
Then
lots
you
of
can-
BridgeMakers
then you
stuff,
then you have to pull it
as
back.
per usual.
You pull
Yeah,
it
then you-
back.
Wow.
Yeah,
then the physics
Yeah, that
work
was a great
going the other way.
session
that's
we had
really.
the other day.
I
was
like
hoping-
that. That's really cool.
And engaged.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm doing a lot of.
Oh, I was just saying,
okay,
I'm
back
hoping
then.
for a-
Great.
a
Yeah, no,
decent
I did a whole series.
turnout.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
This
we had
sounds
that
really
one where we were
interesting.
doing the internet museum, and that
okay.
was incredible.
There we go.
I see myself
Yeah,
on camera.
Internet Museum.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't remember. Did I do
I'm
that?
just joking.
Or was that
it's,
with?
it's
Uh,
over
I
there.
think that was more of an, yeah, more of an
I got the
interactive
camera
one,
set up
more
pretty nice.
hands-on.
It's nice.
nice.
Maybe I'll.
Yeah.
So like,
Right. What have you been up to?
there's that one.
Well,
and
just
then
the
that one.
usual content
Okay.
creation,
And
learning some Unity, learning some
Oh, wow.
world building in Meta Horizons world.
There we go.
Just a lot of fun.
And I don't think
That's awesome.
that
That's awesome. Oops.
I don't think that Barry is going to
Yeah,
be
that
able to
was
join us
my-
today.
Aw.
Really.
Country of
You're always
Origin.
counting on Barry.
I know.
Was Unity?
Sometimes I'm missing too. It depends.
Horizon Worlds.
I try to be here
He
though.
I'd like to
had-
know more about it. I'm just barely
Yeah,
getting
he had
my
an
feet
appointment,
wet.
and I wanted to reschedule it,
Yeah.
but I was like,
It,
you can only reschedule so
It
many times.
definitely helps
I
me
know it. I know
synthesize
it. Yeah.
from a practitioner to
So
a
made some changes in
creator
here, I noticed.
practitioner.
Which what would I do? I don't think I did anything
That
too
was-
big.
I did. I
Lovely.
remember seeing that back wall up there with all the
Yeah,
videos.
you know what I can't understand is why
That
people keep
The
thinking
presenter
that
a more
or the
virtual
videos?
reality is all games. There are just so many
Yeah.
They
uses.
put
The,
your portal to
um,
Tokyo
Yeah.
I
thing
wonder if
over
we're
there.
going to see
Yeah.
it explode now that
Yeah,
AI
and then the
is part of
Tokyo
it.
one has my other,
I
like this
wonder
world
if
and
some of
another
it
world
is
that I
that
built.
when
So
we
it's kind of
play
all
games, we
connected.
project ourselves
Mhm.
into something that
Um,
isn't us.
And I plan on doing a lot
And
more. So
in VR, we do the
just,
same
I
thing.
need
and
some more
so
time.
it
Tell me about it.
feels
I
like
feel like there's never enough
adjacent or an
time.
extension of gaming
Ever,
from
right?
that
Oh
disinhibited
my
part,
gosh! Right now, yeah.
but it's a
Possibly.
misunderstanding.
I have to
of
make
using
time,
are-
though.
the tool of the space.
Right. I
You just
got a new
cut things
job.
out, you know.
To distract
Oh,
ourselves.
That's
or something.
good.
Right.
No, I don't
Sometimes
think you
we
did.
grow well distracting
Oh,
ourselves,
good.
but we
It's-
also can
it
do a
says
lot of
a VR
harm
game
without
tester.
being purposeful.
Cool.
Yes, that's so cool.
Although the
Yeah.
other side of the
What
coin is
platform?
we can connect
Yeah,
all
what do you-
over the world. I have friends in here that I've never seen face to face.
secret.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I
part
was
of
wondering
that
maybe it's a
Is
secret.
It
Yeah.
becomes about sharing.
Okay,
Well,
that's
is
cool.
it-
It's
is
no
it-
longer
is it
NDA.
their own
different than me. It's
on-
just
is
what's
it
the
their own
idea.
Private game.
What's
type
the
of thing, or-
concept?
Yeah.
I
love
work
that.
for a company that works for other
Yeah,
companies, so
and
I think it
to
mixes up
Okay.
all the time.
Interact with people who
Oh,
are
I can't
sure.
tell you
that
that I got
requires us to be in
They sent me a
spaces that
giant
are
PC
Is-
in the
are
mail,
set up
uh,
for
Oh,
us to meet
wow.
people who aren't like us.
and then like
and
a
Okay.
laptop and a phone.
made to buffer
Um,
that
I don't know,
interaction
like,
so
it's
we
bigger.
can grow some
It's,
roots
I mean,
together.
it's
Like
not
a
huge,
desktop.
A lot of
but, you know,
things that could pull
it's a
us
desktop.
apart.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What's the graphics card? That's
Yeah.
what I meant. Yeah,
I love the shared experience
Oh,
aspect of it.
I haven't looked at it too much.
That
It's
sounds so Californian, but you know what I mean. If you play
in
golf with
California,
somebody,
too. Yeah, I feel you.
Oh,
are you
You're
really? What
using the
part?
Quest headset
Yeah.
for it?
I'm in San Jose.
yeah, that's the
Oh, all right.
confusion
You're north
that I
of me.
have.
I'm Long Beach.
That's
Oh.
AMD
Great. Yeah, I was there for
Uh,
the AWE
oh, an
conference.
AMD.
Why would they-
Mm.
P620. I don't know if that's good or not.
You got to see the
I
Queen
usually,
Mary in our harbor. What'd you think of us?
I don't know what that is.
I've
I don't
been
know
there
what
a
that is
couple
either.
years in
Yeah.
or
Yeah, me
no,
neither.
2
Yeah,
years now.
anyways.
For the conference.
Well,
It's
that's cool. So do you use
that was right
PCVR
when
for
the
it then?
government
That
goal was
I
happening.
have I start on
So
Monday.
It was war zone.
Oh,
I have
a
questions.
little bit,
Like,
and
yeah.
Ah,
but
okay.
beautiful area.
I figured you'd be
Just
doing
was a hard
the
moment to
Oculus
be there
One
for a
or
conference.
something. Because
Mhm.
they didn't give you a headset,
Okay.
right? They didn't give
It
you a
is
special
beautiful,
VR
and it
headset.
was a little bit
I haven't
scary. I
gotten a
thought of
headset
that
yet,
when
no.
everybody's going
Mm.
downtown. It's
Okay.
like, well,
So
yikes.
I'm gonna figure
Because
it out.
of course you are right
exactly.
in the center, and that's where
Um,
all the demonstrations happen. Demonstrations
dang.
are great. It's just the rabble
I think
rousers
it's
who
almost
take
10 after,
advantage
so
of
I
them.
think we should get started.
Excuse me, to
and
start
Sure.
getting into things and looting.
Hopefully,
Oh,
more
yeah.
people will stream in later.
Yeah.
It's usually
Yeah,
it's about 5 after, but
I feel like
Oh,
that, yeah, happens.
okay. But it
Yay.
is being
Well,
streamed,
I
so
wonder if
it's good.
it's going to be a smaller group
I'm
today.
going to. Yeah.
It's usually a
Um,
small select group. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Oh, you're all
Me too.
awesome. I'm glad you're all here.
Yay.
Okay, so I'm gonna megaphone myself. I'm gonna megaphone you. Okay. Let's get this started. I'm gonna do the official thing on the stage. Hello and welcome to the VR Creator Club. This event we will be having a special guest speaker, Dr. Ruth Diaz, and we will be she'll go over her topic in a moment, but I also wanted to make a general announcement that after this event I will not be looking for any special guests at the moment, because I'm going to be changing up foundationally how this this platform works, and I'll be open for like recommendations or communications, but for the meantime I will continue to have the 2-week meetup where we can actually get together and hang out, but I'm not going to be advertising it or pushing it as much, and it'll just be more casual. If you want to bring your friends, that's great. And then in a few months I will be kind of relaunching it, and it will be more of a game focused with other speakers that come on and still talk about VR events, but it's going to be coupled with the Virtual Odyssey store world that I'm going to be building, where Flutter is familiar with it, where it'll be more storefronts and speakers who come on and talk about the games that are being put into that world. So that's something that we can look forward to, and I think that's about it for general announcements. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Dr. Ruth Diaz.
Yay.
Woo.
I'm
I don't know
glad.
if
Thank
you're
you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody who's here, and for future people who may watch. Some of you maybe have heard me talk before. I am a conflict resiliency trainer, amongst other things. And I was excited to come to an app I've been to before, but never spoken professionally in. Uh-oh, did I do something? I feel like I'm melting. Do I get up? Melted.
There we go.
Yeah,
Right controller,
so we're gonna be
thumbstick up and down. Yeah.
okay. Right thumbstick. Got it. I have been teaching in physical reality and then also in social virtual reality for the last 5-6 years, and doing a lot of immersive ethnographic research with social VR communities, understanding how they are similar to physical reality and how they're different. And one of the topics that has really grown as a conversation and a teaching tool for me is nonverbal communication, because in physical reality, how we interact is more unconscious, and there's a lot more data points. So if you pretend that my body has 100 different dots on it, and your body also has 100 different dots on it, and when we meet each other, when we're trying to connect, we're synchronizing those dots, and they're kind of dancing together, these two kind of dot beings, right? But in virtual reality, we have different expressions and limitations in how we express. But our brains have been wired to look for all those 100 dots. So if you're on a mobile phone, you might only be showing me nonverbals of 2 or 3 dots. And my brain is going to go into a stress response because there's a lot of missing information. And then it's also going to start to try to fill in and create a pattern of dots over your very frozen demeanor. And it's going to misread what's going on for you. It's not going to know why you're on your phone versus your computer or whatever else, what else you're doing in the world. And so if you are juggling things and you're on your phone and you're in an immersive environment and other people are immersed, real conflict can actually happen that looks like people kind of just ghost each other or think each other is pretty hostile or whatever else. So that's what we're talking about today. This is some of the descriptions of my businesses and the movements I'm involved in. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of these. But before we get into the concrete versions of nonverbal behavior and understanding how to work with those with each other, I want to give you a little more background on the conflict resiliency model that I teach. I have a doctorate in psychology, and at the end of my doctorate, I was increasingly really fascinated with one of these founding fathers of psychology, Carl Jung, because he believed in this extension of our consciousness he called the collective unconscious. And he based a lot of his work that guided a lot of the movement of psychology. He based that off of this kind of nervous breakdown that he had in the middle of his career when he messed up. He did some really harmful things, and he was excluded. He was exiled from the community. And to heal himself and figure out how he had gotten there, he actually was put into a psychiatric facility. I'm not sure if he checked himself in, but he went through this many months of kind of journeying to go inward and understand his own shadow and understand how he was. Oh, I did it again. So easy to do in here. Okay.
Yeah, that happens.
Let's figure this out. My nonverbals are squishy. So yeah, Carl Jung came up with these archetypes, and the dot model is taking a few of those archetypes and saying, how do those archetypes create conflict? And archetypes, for those not around me who hear me talk about this all the time, I think of archetypes like an arch. It's a summative behavior set that shows up in human beings in group or connective experiences. So a villain is what we usually notice first when there's conflict happening. And then we're looking for who is the villain targeting. And then we're looking for who's going to fix this or who didn't set the container. And then we're looking for who is not helping, but should be. And that's where we get archetypes. And when one person goes into conflict, everybody else starts to mirror the extremes of those archetypes. And so we can find ourselves placed in situations where we don't want to be the villain or the bystander, but we feel like something has almost compelled us or taken us over. And nonverbal body language is one way to recognize when archetypes are becoming provoked. And so I've been teaching about nonverbals quite a bit. And today we're going to start with what we've already been doing, is talking about what are the things that are unconscious in our communication that actually really impact how we connect. And if we can make that more conscious in here, it will make us better in physical reality, first of all, in communicating with people, because we will be watching to see if you ask me a question, you said, if Dot over there asked me, like, hey, Ruth, will you come do this? And I'm like, yeah, I will absolutely come help you out. And I look away from Dot. What are my nonverbals telling you?
There's no way you want to do that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you are not a priority. I'm telling you that I hope you're not going to press, maybe. Or I'm telling you that I'm watching my cat run back and forth on my floor, but you can't see my cat. And so now you're like, oh, she doesn't like me very much. But what's happened is my nonverbals got incongruent with my verbals. And it created a conflict in our communication. And they're micro conflicts. These happen all the time. But making them conscious is part of building healthy community, which is what I am always working on. So today we're going to do what the DOT model recipe is. We're going to deepen into the invisible emotions, the invisible nonverbal communication. We're going to raise our awareness of what's really happening there. And we're already doing it. Then we're going to orient to remembering that there's a human behind every digital presence. There's a human inside of every conflict. There's multiple humans, at least. And so orienting is about coming back to the moment and moving from reaction to presence. And then transformation is where we take that energy that was causing discord and rewire it into a dance, into a way and a faith and a willingness to reorient our communication so that we can build healthier relationships. So we talked about Jung, and the other piece that this model comes from is from this concept of the drama triangle, which came out in the 80s, I think. And the drama triangle was basically showing these are dynamics that happen in organizations, but they had left out the bystander. And I remember learning about the drama triangle and going, there's something missing here. Like, I appreciate it, but I don't want to be the villain, victim, or hero. These all seem like all are in motion. Who else is in the room that we're not mentioning? And so working with a group called Stand for Courage quite a while ago, I started to realize that there was a missing role, which is the bystander. Stand for Courage is an anti-bullying campaign that instead of targeting the bully and saying, bad you, don't do that, slap, slap, right? Punitive justice, it actually redirects the movement and the energy to the person who's being targeted and celebrates them, lifts them up, sees their courage in being who they are, and counteracts that negative attacking with an acknowledgement, affirmations, etc. And this studies that they did in schools had really good results. So these are some of the more influential books that also help shape the DOT model process. And now you're going to see a fast-forwarded version. I teach this in workshops. I based the BridgeMakers community that I'm building off of this. But this is a just overview, no expectation that you understand it or read it, but this is the framework that I use for people to grow emotional fluency and understand how they're feeling and how others might be feeling when they're experiencing conflict. Am I shrunk again? I'm just doing my exercises today.
Yeah, a little.
Tell me again how to get myself unshrunk. It must be
Right thumbstick up and down.
Right.
There you go.
Thumbstick up and down. Okay.
There you go. Standing up tall.
Yeah. I'm going to stop moving my controllers. Okay. So, up to 80% of how we're communicating in any given moment or more is nonverbal. So if you think about that, the verbals are actually causing us to cognitively kind of synchronize, right? But we have this whole body that's left in physical reality that is not able to show the other person if we are like really integrating and weaving with what they're sharing. And so that can be very disruptive and kind of wear and tear on our sense of belonging personally and professionally. And so the dot model starts with deepening into those uncomfortable emotions. Welcome. Hello. Come on in. Join us. Plenty of room.
That's
And
Barry.
then,
He's a regular here.
Hey.
oh, yeah. Hi, Barry. Nice to see you. And then orienting is about aligning our body and clarifying what our feelings are telling us about our connection. And then it also helps us understand that connected to our thoughts. So I may start unconsciously forming a story about you early in our relationship. Like, for example, Barry's, if you don't mind, I'm going to acknowledge your avatar reminds me of an avatar in Horizon Worlds. It's very similar in the whole outfit that you're wearing. And I've had certain interactions with people who wear that outfit in Horizon Worlds back in the day. And I noticed that a certain kind of person might be more attracted to wearing that as kind of their default outfit back when there were only like 5 outfits in there. And so I had this pattern that was growing in me thinking, when I see the black turtleneck and that necklace, these are the kind of interactions that I end up having. Now, I haven't told you if they were positive interactions or negative interactions, but you have already likely tried to read my voice and my nonverbals and either decided it was positive or negative. I'm curious, just for a little interactivity, who thinks that when I've seen people wearing what Barry's wearing, I had negative interactions? Raise your hand.
Nope.
Who thinks it was positive?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Pause.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nice. Okay.
I'm just
Yeah.
guessing.
So the answer is it was a mix, but I would say that the one consistency I found was that people who wore that outfit in the sample of probably 5 or 6 people I interacted with a few times, they were quieter. This outfit did not attract people who were had much bigger energy and were all over the place. And so these are kinds of stories that we're always creating in our thinking mind, and the nonverbals that we don't even know we're showing each other are telling all kinds of stories. And so the Orient part is about taking all that emotional or energy and motion experience through us and turning it into a practice of reset and building a sense of trust and curiosity. When we are practicing trust and curiosity in our bodies, our voice changes. We pause. We listen to learn instead of listening to respond. And we can soften and grow roots with each other when we are orienting and practicing that, even when we have hard moments. And then we have transformation, which is the third layer. And again, for Barry, maybe because you just walked in, this whole process that I'm showing you, this takes hours to learn as a group. I do teach this both in physical and virtual reality, but I'm giving you an overview so you understand hopefully a little bit about kind of my quirky social scientist brain, and recognizing that there is a map, there is a compass that none of us learned growing up that has just been synthesized in the last 10 years, but it really can be an incredible upgrade and tool for practicing conflict on purpose, not to win, but to transform. So this slide is the more common slide that I show at conferences, et cetera, if I have a smaller sound bite. And it's just basically about community design and saying, in online spaces, these are some of the questions that might be asked from the different scarcity archetypes, the archetypes that are feeling like they're going to lose. And so they're in a survival mode. So the hero or the fixer is saying, who do I exclude, or a boundary? The villain or troll might be saying, where's the gap to exploit? Target or victim, why is this happening to me? And the bystander lurker. And as you can see, I don't just have the names there. I have the emojis, right? I have the little graphics that show some body language. And so even if I didn't have the labels and you had a different language, or you just like to look at pictures, you can still get the idea of the body language happening here, the nonverbals. Any questions or thoughts before I keep going? I know I've been giving you a lot of information.
Yeah, I'm just kind of processing it and kind of putting things together. We had some conversations earlier that kind of have a little bit of extra context, but just kind of interesting seeing like the lurker, because I usually fall under that category unless I need to be in front of everybody, like in these kind of events.
Yeah.
So it's good to
Yeah.
see it represented.
It is, and for BridgeMakers, one of the things we talk about is how do we support lurkers in being learners? When I label somebody as a lurker, as a community leader, that can mean that I'm fatiguing with that relationship. Lurk is not necessarily a positive word in society, right? It feels sinister, it feels shady. And so when I, as a community leader, am having that almost like hangry cycle come up, this is a redirect of remembering that we all have our own timing, and possibly I'm redirecting my energy to the people who are being the most passive because I'm fatigued on engaging with the people that are the most active. So I'm putting my attention in the opposite polarity and being like, you're such a lurker. And so how do we build communities that, the problem sometimes with lurking is stagnation and a sense of vicarious witnessing that can be almost damaging at times. People will join an online community and not engage and watch it for a while, and then they leave and they're like, ugh, that's such a toxic community, right? But did they ever actually engage with it versus just come in and watch? And might it have been a little less toxic if they had stuck around? And so how do we activate and make space for people who are maybe more quiet to step up and share and have those kind of pregnant pauses? See, Barry's doing what I do, and I appreciate that, Barry, because I was feeling very odd down there. But you just look like a little spider. I love it.
I'm sorry,
You actually kind of.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Barry.
I was just gonna say that I had to rearrange myself. I was late getting here, and I apologize.
Okay.
And Ruth, you and I have spoken many times in the past, and I'm sorry I'm late because I really do enjoy what you have to present. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Barry. Yeah.
That was my fault.
Oh, that's okay. No, I'm glad you're here. Okay, so we're going to keep going here. So what is pro-social behavior? We're going to look at a duality, pro-social versus anti-social. How do you know that somebody is being pro-social?
To me, that sounds kind of more like a extrovert kind of representation. So if you're actively going out and meeting people where they're at and trying to kind of purposely be social.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? How do you recognize pro-social behavior?
I recognize it as a cheerful greeting.
A cheerful greeting. So there's a positivity to it.
Yes.
Okay. What about you, Flutter?
I think if we want to talk about in VR, when someone turns to you, and because what you were saying earlier, where it's easy to get distracted by what's happening in your environment that no one can see, I think that if you can tell someone's listening, to me, that's kind of pro-social also. Like how
Mm.
they're both looking at me, and or I sometimes I'll like just like move a little bit or shake my head just to show that I'm present.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a good way to put it. So in VR, pro-social is on purpose behavior to communicate something,
Right.
to reassure something, or to intimidate, or to withdraw, right? But
Yeah.
it's on purpose is the important part, and it is about how we're connecting. So what is antisocial behavior?
Mm. I
I'm going to
think
give you a scenario
kind
because Arkin
kind of like the
and
lurking.
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say kind
The
of like the
lurk. There you
lurking.
go.
But like you said,
That's
I know we're
interesting.
kind of
Yeah.
going back. We're kind
Right?
of going back to that, but it's like if someone
That's
like
okay.
pops in really quick and then leaves, and doesn't say
There you go.
anything. To me, that's
Right?
antisocial. Or if they're like running around the space and don't say anything, I think that's
Yeah.
also. You can tell when someone's
Thank
having
you.
trouble with their controllers versus like purposefully trying to like run around. If that
And a
makes sense.
troll. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
So when I did a year-long project interviewing trolls in the metaverse,
Oh. Wow.
and it was a personal and then eventually a professional endeavor to capture through video recordings and group experiences what is going on in the mind of people who are trolling. How do we recognize trolling? Do they believe what they're doing is trolling? And is it antisocial behavior? Most people would say yes. They would 100% say no. And that was one of the surprising answers I got very frequently. In many people who are trolling's minds, what they're doing is connective, and it's a
Interesting.
signaling to find the people who get them. So many times I heard responses about, I will go into a public space, I will do my irritating, trollish behavior, and many people will go away, but a few people will stay. They will laugh or they will move in. And now I have some people to hang out with. And so it's a signaling that can do a lot of harm, but it is an attempt to connect. And in their minds, they are absolutely being pro-social. They're there to connect.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to play a little video here of an interview I did with a community leader that actually was my bridge from the Troll Project into creating this group called BridgeMakers. His name is Curious Kibble. Okay, so first question is tell me about. So, what did we learn there?
how essential it is to be seen socially.
Yeah. In a very intuitive way, I'm going to say this. So, the research I was doing with the Troll Project was anecdotal. It was based off of stories and direct engagement. And the overall sense that I learned is some of the violence we see in trolling behavior is actually out of a loss of self. And so to attack somebody for their identity is a desperate and very primal need to find identity. And it can be very predatory and harmful, but it is a lack of self-awareness that can happen when we disassociate from our bodies, when we don't go touch grass, is the
Yeah.
somewhat condescending paradigm in gaming to tell people to get grounded again. And so in VR, because we're leaving our physical bodies, we're not fully with them many times in these spaces, especially for people who have not developed a sense of identity. Most people who troll tend to be teenagers, men, and there's some really natural explanations for what's happening there and why it is more extreme in VR. And yet the punitive justice system that we're all a part of sees that behavior and thinks, I'm going to cause you pain and exile to help you remember to be better. And it's with the assumption that these people know how to access and grow themselves differently. And I believe a lot of what we're seeing is not actually bridging for them. It's just breaking them further. Yeah. And so what Kibble was talking about is, in VR, turning, waving at somebody, welcoming them is so, so important for everybody to practice, to actually demonstrate real community. Trolls do not stick around in real community. They feel that group behavior, and if it is antagonistic towards them, they will leave. And if it is curious towards them, they may stay. Some of you, I believe, here come from alt space originally. And I also was in there for quite a while doing some events. And I found that the emotional fluency work I was teaching was becoming a troll converter. Trolls would come into our events to troll, and they would circle around like a wolf to a circle of sheep. And when they were welcomed and included in the conversation and not treated hostilely when they were hostile towards us, they would settle many times. They would hang out on the periphery, and eventually, after a few weeks, they would start to participate and share their stories. Some stories that were just jaw-dropping on the pain they had gone through and how this was changing things for them. Some of their first times they'd ever spoken in VR was in our event. So emotions are key for sure. And is my slideshow frozen? Interesting. Let me try refreshing and hopefully I don't crash the whole thing. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now we're going to go to the Orient part. Human is the opportunity. We use that word human as a apology or a curse. Well, I'm only human. Why did I say that? Because something went wrong. Human is the opportunity. And so conflict resiliency instead of resolution is about recognizing that usually when we hear or think the word conflict, it has escalated to a point where things are really breaking. But micro conflicts are happening constantly. And if we learn through our emotions to recognize those conflicts and dance with them when they're smaller, we are practicing conflict resiliency. We're recognizing that we can't prevent conflicts. We can only work with them, address them, and grow from them. And we can address them earlier so they don't become what most people think of when they hear conflict. So, yeah, my slide is doing the thing again. That's interesting.
What's going on?
It's getting stuck. I'm going to refresh again.
Oh,
Interesting. We were having this trouble in VR chat with our slides, and
interesting.
seems to be happening here also. Yeah. Trying to think. I think the next slide is going to be important. So I'm actually just going to refresh this whole thing and see if it works. Start. Nope, it looks frozen for all of us.
If you want to refresh, then we can all rejoin real quick, and it should be just a quick little cycle.
Yeah, I did. I did refresh. So let us leave and come back. It's a good conflict resilience.
Okay.
Oops, wrong way. Oh my gosh. There we go.
Okay. Here we go. Yay.
Oh.
That worked. Oh, Kurt is AFK maybe? Or did you just cycle so fast? Other slide is missing. Okay. Well, we're rolling with it. If there's anything I've learned about virtual reality, it's to
Okay.
roll with it. So here's some examples of dysregulated nonverbals: a lack of emotional expression, flat, robotic, or dominant body language, imposing postures, towering over others. So in VR, these can have other reasons than this is just how this person is, right? And so, for example, in alt space with the dominant body language imposing postures, some of you might remember or heard that people in alt space, there was a big influx of people from India coming into alt space. And in India, people are very close together in their bodies. And so in VR, people would be very close. If they wanted to meet you, they'd come stand like, 6 inches from your face. And most of them weren't in headsets. So they were looking at a screen and they were so excited and curious. And this was considered very aggressive by the community that was in alt space at the time. And so what ended up happening was they started getting blocked and muted. As soon as people would hear somebody with an Indian accent, that person would be kind of shunned and avoided. And this was creating a whole conflict. And so some of the community leaders got together and said, we need to do some onboarding for these people coming from India to explain the culture in here and help them acclimate. And so there were specific sessions set up for people from India to come and learn about how to be social in social VR. Many people read that body language as aggressive or antisocial, but it was actually very pro-social from the culture it was coming from. So the exercise would be, how do we use trust and curiosity to address dysregulated behaviors? Whether they're actually dysregulated or we are feeling dysregulated watching that behavior is a two different things, right? But dysregulated means I don't know how to dance with you. And how do we choose the emotional states to get our needs met, even when we don't have all the information? So that's a question to pause with here. What does that look like?
I'll move the camera around.
It's okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Trust and curiosity to address dysregulated behaviors.
I think that, like, asking questions and like trying to
Mhm.
communicate with somebody before assuming the worst could help a lot, especially with somebody when they get close. Uh, I've seen multiple times where people purposefully get close to somebody in VR and it makes them uncomfortable. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but they ask them multiple times to stop and they don't do it. But in the situation where it's a cultural thing and someone like had that same communication, they would have definitely just kind of backed off and been like, oh, I apologize. Because
Mm-hmm.
people don't
Yeah.
tend to
People
want to
don't
offend
know.
each other.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's definitely a curiosity that can be put forward, even though I may feel irritated and even fearful. I can still practice curiosity by saying, I noticed that. So I was in a social app called Gorilla Tag. Has anybody heard of this?
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
it's for the young and strong armed. Not so much for me. So I was crawling around in there like it was my last day and I was dying, and these children were trying to orient me on how to move like a gorilla, and they got together and they were all giving me advice, and then they got very, very excited and conflicting with each other. There was friction. It was a little like a bonfire of gorillas. And they decided that the way to move forward with all of this energy, where gorillas were on top and inside each other and whatever, was to troll me. And so they all started putting their gorilla fists into my face so that it covered up my eyes and I couldn't see anything. And so here I have this horde of children gorillas that are all doing a go team, but in my face and laughing. And uh, and so I just sat there for a little bit, see if being quiet would kind of kill what was happening. It didn't. They just kept doing it, and they're like just talking to each other and yelling about whatever game they were going to play next. And then I just started saying, "Oh, purple. Oh, green. Oh, yellow," because these were the different colors of fists that I was seeing, basically. And they were like, "What? Why are you saying colors?" And I was like, "Because those are the colors I'm seeing. What colors do you see in the room?" And then somebody was like, "Well, I'm brown." And I was like, "Oh, hi, brown." And we all started interacting with each other by the colors of our gorillas, and it became communication. And the kids had just never thought about calling each other by colors. And so then somebody would say, "Hey, orange," and 3 orange people would look up and they're like, "Oh, cool. I can use a color to organize what's happening." And then they weren't putting their fists in my face anymore. And so this was a micro moment of addressing a trolling group behavior by just offering observations on what I was experiencing and being curious about where it would go. What do you notice
That's
here in that
cool.
story? Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah, I think that
You made a
the,
connection.
Yeah,
Mhm.
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. You made a connection with how they were expressing themselves, is what I
Mhm.
noticed.
And I
And
was
it's like a yeah.
so emotionally, I knew that they were trying to get a rise out of me, right?
Right.
They were like, "Why? You're old. Why are you in here?" And I was like, "I'm a social scientist." And they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "I study group behavior." And they said, "You mean like with monkeys?" And I said, "With people." And they said, "We're people, not monkeys." And I said, "Okay." And we moved on. We didn't have to go, "Well, you're wearing monkeys and you're being like monkeys. You are monkey." Like we didn't have to argue about this. We just got to recognize I needed to lower my educational language level and uh and just roll with it. But I knew that they were testing me there, right? And it was an instinctual test. It was a test of, if we do the things that irritate each other, are you going to respond the way we respond? And when I didn't, they were much more interested in everything I said after that. because they were like, oh, the game has changed. Now we have somebody who's showing us things that have been here, but we didn't even know they were here. And so recognizing the need in them, which was they were all having a lot of friction near each other, and I was an anomaly, and I was paying the price for that. But not taking that personally and staying curious and practicing trust was a way that it just redirected the energy. There was no corrective behavior. There was no, hey, do you see the guidelines over there that says don't push yourself on people? None of that happened. These people were in very primal, 0-1 states. Is it fun? If it's not, flood it until it leaves. That's the equation in these youngsters' brains. And immediately after that, somebody says, hey, I want to talk to you. Will you meet me in a different instance? And they taught me how to complicated process for 5-year-olds get to a different instance. They gave me the code that was their name tag, whatever. And I go to it and they never showed up. And I was like, oh, that was a different kind of trolling. Clever. But I had asked them, teach me how it goes in here. Teach me all the things, including the hard things. So this is just a way that connection can be complicated, but also delightful and weird. So this one is looking at those questions. What is antisocial? What is prosocial? And how do we recognize that through virtual reality? So we've got about 5 more minutes left, but I'd love for everyone, including Kurt, if you're willing to participate by just finding one of these blocks and reading it out loud. And then we'll talk about it for a minute. What do you see?
I'll go first real quick. And I picked this one because it's closer and I can read it. Offering guidance to a user who is new to VR creation tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That is something that, especially on Banter, it's so hard because creating things is so complicated, and it really takes like a lot of people to help build anything in here.
That's really true. And, I believe that the people who endure in this technology are people who have learned to let the glitches be part of the rhythms of the environment. Just like in a woods, you would have crickets and maybe crows that see you and they come and caw at you. So you have irritants, you have just background noise. Glitches are kind of like that, or barriers to create, right? And so pro-social behavior is maybe saying, I'm going to give you one thing, one tip to help you grow. But I'm also not going to become your tutor and instructor. I am going to hold boundaries and also be helpful if possible. And so VR really lets us break down the little bits that we can do to connect with each other and move towards each other and away from each other. Who else wants to pick one?
I wish I saw the block so I can refer to. I don't. So I'm just going to choose transform and practice enoughness and ask you what that means. What is enoughness?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So scarcity is a mind state that is relying more on our primal states, that is, or primal brain stem, that is looking at the world as the cup is half empty. I don't have enough, right? And abundance is having more than enough. And sometimes we kind of attribute positive and negative to those things, but I don't have enough taxes is a type of scarcity, right? But we wouldn't necessarily say that's negative. And I have too much water is a type of abundance, but I could be drowning, right? And so enoughness is finding the middle between the extremes and using that as the pathway to grow. Enoughness is practicing a non-binary, non-dualistic frame of mind. But the only way to get to that middle place is to identify both sides.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Very much so.
I love how you rolled with the glitch that happened for you here where you can't see the slide and you went back to what you did see and you're like, I have a question. That is conflict resiliency. You could have left. You could have been like, glitches, I'm so over this. And you stayed and brought this and something landed. So this is a perfect example. What else? What else do y'all see up there that makes you curious or like,
I can make a comment real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, when there's this collaboration, working together towards a common goal, that was very apparent in Alt Space. You could build together, you could work together. It was
Yeah.
for developing community.
Yeah.
And then we lost
Such a
that
good point.
when we went to
I
VR2,
know.
we lost it. You know,
That's right.
it was a big downfall.
Yeah. Yeah, in AltSpace, they had a really beautiful thing that was very low lift. There are apps that are trying to do this, but it's just not as simple. So the tools are hard to learn. But it was, you could be in a space like this. We were doing a talk right now, and I could pull out modifiers and elements and assets for the world and change the world as we were talking. And that's a really amazing way to reflect the group back to themselves. Just start adding things and modifying the environment and hanging out and figuring out what goes where. It's the most weird three-dimensional interior decorating ever, but of our own psyches. And it builds a continual practice of iteration in people who do that. So the apps that did not choose to make environments we could modify easily have phenomena like, if anybody has heard, this is a news cycle going around in the XR field. You all heard of the VR chat world where there's a tower and they're using blocks in the, what is the app that has these pixelated blocks? Very simple cubes are being picked up on the ground and walked up this very tall spiral going into the sky. I think it looks like the Tower of Babel from biblical times. And they're doing this just to carry that block to the top and place it. And in every instance where this is happening, you can see blocks appearing up there from other instances. There's no point to the whole thing except to carry the block up to the top. And it can take longer and longer to do that. But people are in there 24/7 doing this. And for the people I've met who've participated in this, they said it feels so good to be collaboratively building something with people. And I'm like, but there's no point to the tower. And they're like, but it feels good. And this is a really good example of what happens and how hungry people are to be able to change something together, to modify, to feel like we're growing something. And what it, and so in a VR chat, that has been such a lacking experience that people are desperately climbing towers of pixels. And so we've practiced a little bit of the trust and curiosity. We're not going to have time to go into the idea of calling out versus calling in. That's a different talk. We're not going to have time for that one. Coming to my final page here. There we go.
I got
So this is me. Yeah, thank you for coming.
Right. Yeah,
This is
good to see
me.
you.
This is my little
Hi.
code for buy me a
Right.
coffee. If you would like to support me,
Alright.
you can also join BridgeMakers to learn about our community, pro-social and understanding antisocial behaviors. And yeah, any questions or reflections from what we've talked about today?
No, that was a great presentation. Thank you.
Oh,
It really was. Wow.
yeah.
I really liked it. Yeah. And I thought the graphics were very pretty too, to be honest.
Thank you.
Yeah. Those charts were
Yeah.
so pretty. They look like flowers.
Oh, good. Oh,
I like
yeah.
that
The dot
also.
model is definitely a transfixing
pretty.
image for a lot of people. Yay.
You
Awesome.
know, really, really good. This was great.
I'm so
I
glad.
love that
And
you
thank you.
referenced how the glitches in here are like the natural elements when you're out in whatever, out in
Yeah.
the backyard or whatever, and the crows are cawing. It's like, yeah, I never thought of it that way, but You're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Uh-huh.
And
Mhm.
what did we do when we have glitches and we respond to them humorously, calmly, curiously, is we're building a muscle so that when people come in and they are glitching in their behavior or in their technology, we are stretching ourselves to make room for that too. So
Mhm.
my one request of Arkin today is if we did have any disruptors that came into the space, I love disruptors in my events. Uh, they are show and tell. It's like I hire them every time,
Right.
and I'm just like, I'll pay you later, but I didn't call them in. But this
I could
is
see that.
this is
Yeah.
yeah, this is a very living practice that
Mhm.
hopefully is a little flame igniting in you too. Even though children aren't allowed in this app, and so we agreed that if a child came in, we could really clearly recognize they were under the 13 age limit, they were going to be evicted possibly. But first, my request was let's have a conversation. And what then you get to see is how to use the group behavior not to intimidate or harm, but to hold a gentle boundary. And
Thank you very
yeah,
much. I do
go ahead.
need to. I'm
Yeah,
gonna end the
gotta go
stream.
too,
I'm not
of course.
kicking anybody out, but I do need to get going. I have a thing I have to get to.
Of course.
But I really want to
Yeah.
thank you, and I really appreciate that you've come here. And I just want to
Mm,
shout out that she has a BridgeMakers community that they largely meet on VR chat, and she has a Discord. And if you want to have more conflict mediation and like actual deeper discussions about like culture and like community in VR, I think that it's a really great resource. I'm kind of
mm,
a lurker, so you won't see me posting on there a lot, but don't
mm,
hold that against me. I'm still
mm.
engaged, so
That's
just
good to
not
hear.
actively.
Mm,
um, so
yeah,
so
thank
thank you very
you.
much.
Thank you, Arkin. Yeah, and thanks for inviting
Yeah,
me and
thank you.
everybody that came.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yay.
Thank you. Yeah, I have to